you agree the black church has to fit more into what's happening today?
No, I think that the black church needs to be countercultural. I think that's one of the problems with the black church. The black church, from a historical standpoint, has always stood against the things that society stood for. And that's where we actually realize the power of God. When you go against a racist, oppressive, materialistic society, you have to have the power of God and His Spirit to help you to battle those things. I mean, what would give Harriet Tubman, who by all means was a very petite, sickly woman, the power to free 500 slaves if it wasn't a deep belief in the power of God?
With mega churches out now, Kirk, I mean, I argue that people not leaving the churches are being reconfigured. Mm-hmm. Isn't it true that blacks are still going to church in large numbers?
Yes, and I think that the jury is still out on some of the mega churches. You know, I don't want to bash, you know, the concept of mega churches, because what it's also doing is it is empowering people to think different and be better, because a lot of mega churches are very impactful in their communities. These churches have schools, you know, these churches have like nursing homes, and you know they have so many things that are helping people of color. So you can't bash, you know, all black mega churches. I think that the concern is the local community church is suffering a lot, because a lot of people are going to the mega churches. However, the local community church a lot of times gets stuck.
The question I have for you is, how does the new age black church and it's be relevant but yet still hold on to the values of the traditional black church?
Joe, even you would agree with a functioning church, even if you may not agree with the theology of the church.
Well, just get back to some quick things. What got Harriet Tubman up and freeing slaves was being whipped. That's what got her going. It had nothing to do with anybody in outer space.
But she wasn't the only one.
And what made her want to get out of slavery had nothing to do with that.
They were whipping all the slaves.
But she would attribute it to God, whether you attribute it to God or not.
God sure as hell didn't help her.
Well,
where was he? She would have been a slave in the first place.
He helped her and 500 get out of there.
He didn't do a very good job, but they wouldn't have been slaves in the first place. Now, you say you can't bash the black church? Yes, you can. You sure can. Mega black churches. Most of the churches are segregated. They're either all white or all black. They don't do much for the community except try and get Republicans elected.
Of the mega churches?
The mega churches,
no,
sure.
I
guarantee you that's how they got to be mega.
My response is that there are a lot of things that we did in the black church that was defined by the Bible, and then when we began to study to show ourselves approved, we found out that ain't scripture.
Correct.
That ain't scripture.
Right.
That a woman can wear pants and come in here and learn about the Bible and be just as saved as the woman that's got the skirt up to her behind. You can still be you and allow the children to still embrace their culture and still have Christ in the culture.
Right.
Christ wants to be in the culture. Timberlands and Sean John is not a sin.
But let me ask you something. Wasn't there a resistance when you contemporized gospel music? I mean, nobody can talk about this better than you.
Yeah.
And you just kept going.
Yeah, because that had nothing to do with my love. And which is a great point, I wasn't trying to. You're talking about a kid who was raised on hip hop. And so when I trusted Christ with my heart, He didn't change my style. He didn't change my flow. He didn't change what I enjoyed musically. And so
which is why you could also attract a lot of people that understood, that couldn't relate. I mean, I knew when I was growing up here in Brooklyn, they said it was a sin for women to wear pants. I mean, we've gone through this in every generation.
Here's a strange thing. I had an opportunity up in New Haven to do a workshop with about 115 kids. I said, what do you all want to talk about? We ended up talking about hip-hop music.
That's good.
And so what we did was, I said, I don't know anything about hip-hop music. You all teach me. This is over 100 kids in a room at a very large church. And they began to tell me all the hip-hop artists. Yeah. And then I told them to give me the songs that these hip-hop artists sing, and they gave me all the songs. And I said, now what I want you to do is write the words down.
Yes.
They wrote all these words down.
That's a good one.
And I said, okay, now share the words with me. And they were kind of like, oh my goodness. I did not realize how much of this filth that we are exposed to. We kind of like the beat, we sing the words, but we don't really hear what we're singing. And then what that does is it kills the substance.
If the church was functioning, the church as an institution, for the good of the community, you wouldn't object to that, would you?
I wouldn't object to anything working for the good of the community.
I didn't think so.
Boom, we're together.
I knew we'd get together.
We're together.
I just don't think you need a church to do.